We previewed it on last week's show. We put a little bit of pressure on Perugia, saying that if they didn't come out and take care of business and win the Italian Cup, then they would be in trouble. And sure enough, Sir Safety Perugia wins the Coppa Italia. They beat Trentino in the finals in 4. Both those teams took care of their semifinals pretty easily. It wasn't really a problem for either of them to get to that point. But the 6th time those two teams have played this year alone, Perugia now leads the season series 4 matches to 2. You see the score lines there. The first 2 sets were convincing before Trentino got a tight one on the board. And then, funny enough, like the last 2 points of the 4th set were both scored by Simone Gianelli on offense, which I thought was kind of cool. But you can see the stat lines there, just a couple of them. Wilfredo Leon, MVP of the Italian Cup, 23 points, led the match in scoring, 17 for 38 attacking. Not the best efficiency we've ever seen from Wilfredo, but 4 aces is pretty classic for him. A real bright spot, Kamil Rikliski, 21 points, 16 for 28 attacking, 2 blocks and 3 aces. That is a great output from your opposite, especially when you have Matt Anderson's stat line very much an L2 sort of stat line, like leading the team in passing, and very conservative everywhere else, like only 9 for 23 attacking with very few errors. So he just wasn't
best L2 in the game.
Yeah, so he's clearly not swinging to score. He's just trying to be an L2. Total.
That's
like,
kind of, to
great
be honest,
role play.
I think that's best case scenario.
I agree.
What Anderson loves playing with Leon, because it really highlights his game. The more I think I see Matt Anderson, I don't know if he's that typical, like he can be that number one, like that alpha guy, but I think he loves playing in that second role where there's a little bit less pressure and you're expected to pass that ball a little bit more. But hey, you're right. I mean, I think one of my most impressive performances, Menegozzi down there getting 11 points, going 8 for 8 and 3 blocks. Like he's still got it. I thought last year after playing with that Ravenna team that he was going to kind of just fizzle out into obsolescence, but no, he's back here with Perugia getting it done. But I mean, the reality is that there was never really a point that I thought Trentino was going to be winning this match.
No,
right? And even when they took that 3rd set to stay alive, it was very much like, oh, we got to play one more. You know, like it didn't ever strike me like they were actually going to be competing with Perugia in this one. I mean, Leon was lights out, 23 points, just continuing to cement himself as one of the best players. Rich Licky, like you said, I mean, to me, this is kind of what I expect for Rich Licky, because he just gets so many looks and he's so consistent, swinging at 57%. And yeah, Perugia setting themselves up for the potential treble, right? I think that's what the goal is for them this year. They got the Coppa Italia, right? The Super Coppa doesn't matter. Nothing matters that happens in October, right? If it has 2021 no longer matters. So Coppa Italia is the first one, and then you've still got Champions League and the Scudetto to go. But dominant performance right now from Perugia, and there's no doubt to my mind that they're looking at the best team in Italy.
Yeah, completely agree. And as we'll talk about in just a second, they have now officially cemented the number 1 seed into the Scudetto playoffs with Lube losing to Modena. So we'll talk about that in a second. Just to go over Trentino really quickly, the thing that really jumped off to me is how badly they got outplayed in the middle. Like, Srećko Lisinac and Marko Podraščanin cannot be getting outplayed by Stefano Mengozzi. Like that's not acceptable. 7 for 14, 4 errors combined for the 2 Serbians who should be among the best in the game. And then Daniele Lavia, not as good either, pretty inefficient. But this really was a case of Perugia being the better team from first serve until last. Gianelli just masterfully ran the show. I echo giving Mengozzi a ton of credit, because with Fabio Ricci being injured early in the year, there's like some role player Italian middle spot that needed to be filled for Perugia by somebody. And the veteran Mengozzi has done a pretty nice job in that spot this year. I mean, Matej Kaczynski's stat line, okay, 12 for 27, 7 errors. That's not very efficient. Micheletto, 16 for 28. That's better. But yeah, they were weak in the middle. That's an area of strength that they've really got to have if they have any, Trentino this is, to have any chance of beating Perugia. And they got beat in that area. And I agree with you, Everett. This one was really never in doubt. Perugia has answered the question, can they come out and can they win a meaningful tournament? The answer now is yes. And now the only things that they have left to accomplish are those 2, like you said, Scudetto and Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, I think to be honest, it comes all down to Gianelli. Like if you've got Mangosi going 8 for 8 in the middle, Sebastian Soleil is 4 for 6, like just a masterful performance, and he continues to establish himself as one of the best setters in the league. I mean, don't you think guys on Trentino and Trentino execs are kind of watching this match like looking longingly at Gianelli? Probably. You know, just think about this. Think about this roster that they have right now with Gianelli, right? Like he had 3 points in this one, right? Like
Yeah,
he got
he
three
hit
kills, he got
1,000.
3 aces. He 3 kills and he got 3 aces. He's a leader. He puts points on the board, and he is one of the best setters at running an offense. So I think there'll be big reasons for them.
Yeah, that was my takeaway too from this Perugia performance, because you don't see Kamil Rykliski with that stat line, like 21 points and being that efficient, if it's not for Simone Gianelli putting him in the position to do that. Now, on most teams, like the way that most teams would be constructed, the roles would be flipped between Leon and Rykliski. Normally, it's your opposite, who's your go-to guy, the guy that you can expect to lean on to score in out-of-system situations.
That's why I think Rich is so
Exactly.
good. Like he gets all the benefits of playing with a good setter. Exact
Exactly.
same thing with
And
DeCecco last year, and
the
not
best
being
player in the world on the outside.
yeah. But like you have to give it to him, because when he's called to, he
He
continuously
delivers.
does this.
Yes.
He continuously delivers. Like how many matches this year have we come down to it? It's like, oh, Rich Licky led them in scoring again, and it's just because there's so much focus put on the other guys, and when it's his time to call for the ring that bell, he rings it hard.
Agreed. Yeah, he's the perfect opposite for this Perugia team for that reason, because he's never going to be called on to be the go-to guy on offense as long as Wilfredo Leon still plays for them, which I mean, we talked about it. He's locked in for 3 more years. But whenever Rykliski does get his opportunities, it's not against the giant double, triple blocks that are expecting the ball to go to him. It's better situations. And when he's put in those situations, he delivers. He's doing his job. He doesn't have to be Maxim Mikhailov. He doesn't have to be Namir Abdelaziz. He just has to be him.
He's not, yeah.
Right, because he's not. He just has to be him. He has to fill his role with this team, and Gianelli gets a ton of the credit for putting him in the situations where he can be successful, and Rykliski gets the credit for taking advantage. I totally agree. And just because you have Wilfredo Leon, you cannot leave him alone as a set of blockers or a set of defenders against him. You just can't. Otherwise, he's going to have like 50 points and hit 90% efficiency if you start bailing your block out elsewhere. And everybody knows that. So that's why we see so often that it's somebody else on Perugia that ends up destroying you, is because they can't help but sell out and try to stop Wilfredo Leon, and they are just better, much better. Perugia is everywhere else outside of Leon than they were last year.